Here's a short demo about how you can use make to sync actions from Action Network into Airtable. I'm just going to go over this scenario and how to set it up. I'll start from left, work to the right, but in summary, you iterate through the different action types, list them from Action Network, and upload them to Airtable. I'll just explain it from here. So this one starts with a webhook trigger, so you can trigger it whenever we want from a different system by just clicking a link. And that means, yeah, link clicked, and then the next step just updates in this case, the link's being clicked from Airtable, so it updates the record on Airtable that was for that automation to trigger it. That's all that bit does. So I'm just going to skip over that now and then start with the iterator here. And the iterator does exactly what it says. It loops through, iterates through a series of items. In this case, there's 5 items, and they are the internal names for different Action Network action types. So that's event campaigns, forms, petitions, advocacy campaigns, which would be letter campaigns or core campaigns in the user interface, or events. The only one that's not here is fundraising pages, which would be open OSDI, open supporter data interface, fundraising pages would be the one that's missing, but I'm going to leave that off for now. What happens is it iterates through all of those, and then for each one of those, the next 3 steps are done. So the first step, starting with event campaigns, is you go into list the event campaigns action type coming from this iterator. So list event campaigns, that's what value would be, and only ones that have been modified since the last time that the webhook was clicked. So we only sync new actions or newly modified actions. And then the next step is first to filter to check that that's definitely a newly modified action, just in case that this didn't return it. This just means that you save your automations. In case that the filter didn't work on Action Network, you'll filter on make as well. So it's just double checking. So then next 2 steps, the ones that sync to Airtable, it searches to see if the action or event exists on Airtable, and uses that by checking whether the browser URL or the Action Network ID are stored in Airtable on any records, and if they are, then it will return that, and if they're not, then it will return nothing. So either 1 record or no records. That's what the next one deals with, the fact that there's either 1 record or no record. If there is if there is 1 record, then this will be filled out, and it will have an ID field in here. If there are no records, then it won't. And this module is called upsert, which means it either inserts or updates a record, and it will insert the record if there's no ID, and it will update it if there is an ID. And then lastly, just make sure that the table that you're syncing your actions to has all of the fields that you want to sync over, and then you match them up. You match up the Airtable field with the Action Network one from here. You go through, and then the only thing to mention is if you're tracking the number of participants or number of people who've filled out a form, etc., you can just chain together all of the total accepted, total submissions, total donations, total outreaches, total RSVPs, and total signatures, because only one of these will be filled at any one time, because these will only be returned by this module for 1 action type. So this will only be returned for, I believe, I'm not sure actually, accepted will be for events, submissions will be for forms, donations will be for fundraising pages, outreaches will be for advocacy campaigns, RSVPs will be for events, and signatures will be for petitions. Yes, accepted is another one, I can't remember. And that's, yeah, they're the same there, but the rest of it is just matching up name for name.
And then lastly, this automation just updates the this scenario updates the record in Airtable that's where it was triggered, just to say it's finished. Once it's finished, and the filter is just to say basically when it gets to the last action of the last type. So that's how a sync can be set up. The core part is this iterator plus list of actions type. And just a reminder, these are the types of actions. You can get this from the API documentation too. Great, thanks.